I'm Vin.
I'm Sori.
If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the filthy capitalist option. As Sori says, 125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. 125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and then get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at insori@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Yep. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is the community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go in the village, facebook.com/Vin and Sori. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 here and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy our merch.
Buy our merch indeed, if y'all shall lead them.
To buy our merch.
Yes, dear listener. Yes, dear listener. Yes, dear listener.
Hello, everyone.
Type 22 if you can hear us.
This is not a regular stream where it's a long live stream with a singular DJ. Today we are on our short list where we do songs that are for individuals who have purchased 1 song or possibly 2 songs, and anything under 4 songs goes on this list. So we have I don't want to dox the homie, so you introduce.
We have Ascender Prime. Ascender Prime has a song that he would like to share with the community.
Okay.
The name of this song is Sincerely a Taxpayer. Now this is a white dude and he's rapping, and so I'm actually going to cover this one a little bit differently. I know that we always listen to the thing. Actually, no, Ascender is in here. What would you rather do? Us react to the certain phrases, or listen to the whole song and then do it over? Is it a regular review or a point by point thing? You tell us, Ascender. Shout out to Myron, shout out to Hell.
So a couple of pauses in between, or the whole song as a whole per the usual?
Hey, this Friday? All right, so we'll do the whole song and then we'll react after. I mean, either way, I was going to do the whole song, but I got you. Okay, I'll break up the bars afterward. Okay, so is this sincere? Hey, Nick Schilderoff in the house.
What's up, buddy?
Old school. What's good, buddy?
I emailed you back. I don't know if you got it.
Nick was one of our first DJs, man.
Actually, Nick is preparing a comedy stream. We took a little pause on that. He had some other things to get taken care of.
Is it the George Carlin thing?
He's back to get the comedy stream done. It might be next Friday. I'm not sure. We're still working out the details. The deets.
All right, guys, here we go. The name of this song is Sincerely a Taxpayer. What is the name of this artist? I don't know the name of the...
Okay, I was, for some reason, thought
Russell Brand.
Ascender did it.
No, that's not Russell Brand.
Ascender picked the song.
No, he liked it. I haven't seen Ascender. I haven't seen Ascender rap. I bet you can, though. Like, if you, when me and him talk, Bone Thugs, blah, 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 I bet he could rap.
Okay.
I bet he could rap. Okay, this guy.
This is an interesting shot.
This guy, his name is Samson.
Wow.
Samson is the name of this guy. The Most High made me like Samson.
Strong, black, and handsome.
Strong, black, handsome. Keep the trigger figure ready on that handgun. Keep the red beam steady on that Klansman. Who about to catch a murder charge? I'm on that. Man one. All right, here we go. All right, Samson, sincerely a taxpayer. Let's do it. Oh, the Wu-Tang beat.
Okay.
Little jazz.
Ooh, yeah.
Jazz, the
I'm
Wu-Tang
with it.
beat.
I'm hurting. I can feel my money draining. They take everything I make and you wonder why I'm complaining. I break my neck to make this money, then they just come and take it from me. My wages ain't that great in the first place. I should be paying you nothing, but they keep on coming and they keep on taking. These motherfuckers go ham on me every time I bring them the bacon. And I wonder what it's for. Ukraine, great funding a war. Have we spent enough yet? Should I guess not? Look,
I'm sorry. I gotta break my promise because I don't want you guys to miss what this dude just said lyrically. Watch.
Are you gonna put the lyrics out?
Oh, what a good strong opening.
I'm hurting. I can feel my money draining. They take everything I make and you wonder why I'm complaining. I break my neck to make this money, then they just come and take it from me. My wages ain't that great in the first place. I should be paying you nothing, but they keep on coming and they keep on taking. These motherfuckers go ham on me every time I bring them the bacon.
These motherfuckers go ham on me
when I bring home
the bacon.
bacon. Yeah,
Ham
ham,
means-
bacon,
ham-
pulled from a pig.
Ham, you know what it means to go ham on
So
somebody.
crazy. Like
Hard
that
as a
shit?
motherfucker. Hard as a motherfucker. That's what ham means.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah.
Learned something
So
new
they
today.
go ham on him when he brings home the bacon.
What is it again?
He said they go ham
Yeah,
on him.
no,
when he
no.
brings-
What's the acronym?
Huh? Ham? Hard as a motherfucker. So he's getting taxed. Basically, he's,
Yeah.
you know. I promised to send and re-listen to the whole song, and we will. But that wordplay, I'm just
I couldn't
saying,
help it.
the boy's nice. The boy's nice. But what's this boy name? Samson. Go ahead, white boy. Let's go. Tell me your pain.
And I wonder what it's for. Ukraine, great funding a war. Have we spent enough yet? Should I guess not? Look, here they come for some more. Fuck me, I'm sore. Sucks being poor. You had the same job for the last 6 years, wasn't struggling before. Back when Trump was in office, fuck all the junk that they called him. I never saw any of the shit that people always said he was in the comments. All of it was nonsense. I ain't even trying to ride him either. I'm just saying you gotta admit that shit was fine when he was the leader. It was fine when he was in charge. I never saw bills as high as they are. I never got chills just literally thinking about filling up my car. It shouldn't be that way. I don't care about Russia or Ukraine, but I do care about my own country. Is that insane? I care a lot about all the tons of money that we're paying because it's mine, not yours, and I'm the one that feels the pain. I get taxed on my fucking ass for every dime I make. It'd be fine if they would spend my money wisely, but no way. It'd be great if they would take it and pay for important shit that benefited you and me and not just wage wars with it. And where the fuck are all the liberals? I thought you stood against this shit. I thought
Thank
the war
you.
machine was your enemy. Now you're friends with it? Now you wanna go to war? Now you wanna fight? Now you wanna pick sides in a feud where everyone is white? Now you ain't. I care a lot about all the tons of money that we're paying because it's mine, not yours, and I'm the one that feels the pain. I get taxed on my fucking ass for every dime I make. It'd be fine if they would spend my money wisely, but no way. It'd be great if they would take it and pay for important shit that benefited you and me and not just wage wars with it. And where the fuck are all the liberals? I thought you stood against this shit. I thought the war machine was your enemy. Now you're friends with it? Now you wanna go to war? Now you wanna fight? Now you wanna pick sides in a feud where everyone is white? Now you wanna get involved and go and blow a person up? I'm just saying, I'm surprised this altercation ain't diverse enough. No one deserves this stuff. I just don't believe the tears you weep. Countries where brown people get bombed every day. I don't hear a peep, you fucking hypocrites. Thought the race thing was your shtick. I thought as long as white people were involved, you don't give a shit. Those are your words, not mine. I'm just wondering why. Why do we have endless money for them and none for Hawaii? Why is it every time Zelensky needs a loan from someone, we're the only ones that give it to him like we owe him something? We got issues of our own here at home that no one's discussing, and they keep growing cause no one in power is gonna do nothing. We're stuck. How the fuck we gonna help somebody else when we can't even reach inside our own pockets to help ourselves? We could allocate that money to our own people in different ways, to clothe and feed and bathe and let them know it'll be okay. We could definitely do that. Don't tell me it's not that simple. People overcomplicate this and make it some fucking riddle like can't just feed everyone. Are you insane? You know how much that costs? Way less than we've sent to Ukraine. I know that.
Talk
You don't have to be a
Talk to 'em.
mathematician or a
Thank
foreign
you.
relations expert to figure out that division. You don't have to draw a graph. How the fuck we gonna help somebody else else when we can't even reach inside our own pockets to help ourselves? We could allocate that money to our own people in different ways, to clothe and feed and bathe and let them know it'll be okay. We could definitely do that. Don't tell me it's not that simple. People overcomplicate this and make it some fucking riddle like, can't just feed everyone, are you insane? You know how much that costs? Way less than we've sent to Ukraine, I know that for sure. You don't have to be a mathematician or a foreign relations expert to figure out that division. You don't have to draw a graph to see it would cost a fraction to solve half of the problems we have and stop them from happening. I'm just saying, what kind of fucking world we living in? So many billions we've given them, when's Europe chipping in? When we gonna start splitting and stirring up the dividends and begin telling other nations it's your turn to lend a hand? Listen, I don't think Ukraine deserves any of this, but I also don't think Zelensky is as great as they said he is. I don't believe the media when they blurt shit on their shows. You'd have to be naive to think this dude's as pure as driven snow. No one is, especially when you run a nation, dog. Your morals are compromised the minute that you take the job. So I don't trust Zelensky, Putin, Biden, or anyone. I don't think any of them give a fuck about all us little ones. All the people of Russia, all the people of Ukraine, most of the people of the USA probably feel the same. We don't want this shit, it's only the elites that do. They line their pockets, they profit from this, but not from me and you. Quite the contrary, in fact, we pay for it with our lives and money. They take chunks of everything we make, and soldiers die for nothing, so they can gain some more power and keep their banks fat. And all we get is table scraps. Fuck yeah, it makes me mad. Fuck yeah, I get upset. We're constantly ignored. Why the fuck I gotta pay for this? I don't want this war. How the Pentagon have $6 billion unaccounted for, but when I do my taxes, I'm afraid to be $1 short.
Yes!
I'm afraid I'll go to jail. I'm afraid I'll do some time if I don't pay you back the money that you wasted. That was mine. I can't keep it anymore. It's impossible to shut up. I'm sick and tired of being responsible for all your fuck-ups. But the question is, what are we gonna do about it? There's never a plan of action. All we seem to do is shout it, and I'm guilty of it too. Always bitching and complaining, never walking, always talking, always lipping off and saying I'ma do shit, but I don't. And to be honest with you, that's the reason I don't make a lot of songs, and that's the truth. I'm sick of bumping my gums. I'm tired of flapping my jibs. Something needs to be done, and I don't know if rapping is it. We need a real solution, but we need to get together first, because unless we're all in this as a whole, it'll never work. However, what do I know? I'm just a moron with a pen, but there's power in numbers, and there's more of us than them.
The table is tilted, folks. The game is rigged, and nobody seems to notice. Nobody seems to care. Good, honest, hard-working people, white collar, blue collar, doesn't matter what color shirt you have on, continue to elect these rich cocksuckers who don't give a fuck about them. They don't give a fuck about you. They don't give a fuck about you. They don't care about you at all, at all, at all.
We're gonna have to, maybe do a Middle America transplant. Get this guy on into the Middle America chat.
Oh, for sure.
Maybe we could rescue the last vestiges of the ability to use your thinking apparatus, because it's gone, y'all. Mm-hmm. It's gone. And I had an epiphany last night at 3 a.m. and I completely violated the norms of human boundaries, dear listener. Because at 2:50 a.m.
messages were being sent.
I sent a message to my boy Ascender Prime. 2:42 a.m. I'm not gonna lie to you. And you guys know how humble your brother is, so what I said to him before I sent the screenshot was probably my most significant late night thought. That, because you guys know how humble I am.
Okay, and what was this?
Allah.
What was this humble thought of yours, Denise?
So here is the humble thought. Okay, it's a thought experiment / challenge. But here's what I came up with. If you were the lone superpower in the world, but you were a democracy, who would be the enemy you'd want to neutralize most? If you were a lone superpower in the world, but your superpower was a democracy, who is the enemy that you would want to neutralize the most? It's an interesting question. It's a very interesting question. I will answer it, dear listener, at the end of this little video majiggy. Yes, man, he's being suppressed hardcore for a year now.
I bet.
First of all, everybody knows how I am. I'm a lover of my people. I'm a very proud black man. But I'm sorry. This white boy just came out and, in my view, put out the most significant song in that genre probably in the last 60 days. It's cycling, it's making the rounds, and it's important. And it's important because at the beginning of all this Ukraine nonsense, I'm certain there are video clips. You can actually look at this. You can actually date this. Senator Prime is in the room right now. He could testify. Senator Prime was the first person that told me that Russia was going to invade Ukraine. He was in a room just like this. He said, Russia's going to invade Ukraine. I was like, man, they ain't going to do that shit. He's like, nah, bro, they've been at the border. I said, yeah, man, niggas been at the border for like 4 years. He's like, yeah, bro, this is different. I'm like, nah, man, you don't know what you're talking about. Fucking, we finish a live stream, and then I turn on CNN. Forget a Senator Prime. Russia has set foot into Ukraine. Holy shit.
Crazy.
So we get back on. We're talking, calling, doing whatever we do. Obviously, because of all the propaganda during the whole Russiagate scenario, the American people, for the most part, were completely and totally brainwashed with Russophobia. And it was so confusing to me because I remember when he said, that has been my biggest,
Remind me what Russophobia is.
Fear of Russians.
Oh.
Or the idea that Russians are always wrong, and if you have a Russian-sounding name, you have to spit on the Russian flag as some sort of loyalty ritual. Otherwise, we're going to destroy your career. We had a tennis player. A guy wasn't even able to play tennis. They suspended him because he was Russian. He wouldn't decry Putin. That's or whatever. Ridiculous. There was a guy in Broadway or whatever. They shut him down. So all this McCarthyite, un-American bullshit.
Wow.
That when I was coming of age politically, it was the liberals who were saying, you can't do this to people. It was the liberals that were talking. I didn't know about the military-industrial complex until the liberals explained it to me. It was the liberals who were trying to reason with me about Iraq. It was always liberals who were on the side of peace. It was liberals who were saying, don't you see how this translates to capital? They're converting blood to capital in this Iraq war. And now, they're so bloodthirsty for jihad. I don't get it. I don't know what happened. I can't explain the shift. I don't get it. I don't understand how our government was able to successfully psychologically manipulate an entire segment of a political ideology or group of people that were completely against, diametrically opposed to war, imperialism, all the rest of it. In 20 years, it's now flipped. And you've got now Republicans are saying, man, enough of this war, man, what the fuck? And you got liberals saying we need to send another $100 billion to Ukraine.
Yeah, what do you think happened?
As I'm saying, I don't know. I don't understand. Because they're the ones that taught me the anti-war shit. Now, at the time when they were doing that, I was a stereotypical right-winger, angry. It wasn't even right-wing. I was just an American. And I'm a New Yorker. You attack my country. People have to die for that. I would say that to people. People we can't enough for Iraq. I'm like, people have to die. What the fuck? They came and attacked our country. They're like, yo, you bring brainwash. They didn't attack our country. I'm like, what you on? Turn on the TV. What? Bill O'Reilly wouldn't lie to me? Of course they were the ones that did that shit. I was brainwashed. And it was my liberal friends trying to get me out of it. And now the role is turned. But you know what happened? I don't believe in karma. But when all my liberal friends were trying to convince me against supporting this thing, I said, you guys are saying that because y'all are soft. You're soft. You're scared of these dudes. You don't want to strap up. You're soft. Well, whether or not they're soft is irrelevant to whether or not they were right. They were right. I was wrong. They were seeing the world clearly. I was seeing the world through the filter of what my media and government wanted me to see it as.
Yeah.
I was brainwashed. And a lot of mistakes got made as a result. There's nothing wrong with admitting it.
Mm-hmm.
But the current crop, and I'm sorry, you millennials, you get on YouTube, you get on Google, you think because you Google something you know shit. I'm sorry. That like they're go to middle America. I'm just saying, like, there's a lot to learn. And if you're young and if you're in your 20s, maybe sometimes you can close your mouth and maybe listen to people who've gone through this already. And it's occurred to me that a lot of these young millennials who are now going full-throated in support of this bullshit over there in Ukraine were not around during the Iraq invasion.
Oh,
You understand what I'm saying to you? They were either not alive, okay, or they were completely irrelevant to politics. But what happens is you've got ChatGPT and Google now. So you got all these silly millennials getting on and opining about shit they have no idea about. Because they don't understand our country did this to us already.
Right.
They don't get Iraq and all that shit. That's like a history lesson for them.
Yep.
So
that's crazy.
So they don't understand, and so here we are. Is Prime is here. We've been around the block a little bit. We're telling you this is the exact same setup. Okay, I talked about this in 4th of July, where Exxon and Chevron can make cash because now the Europeans are basically a client continent of America relative to oil and natural gas. And I literally showed on Middle America how Exxon and Chevron, the two specific groups I called out, posted record years due to the conflict in Ukraine. So all this shit about we're standing with Ukraine, blah, 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 it's bullshit. Number one, you can see there's an agent, there's an agency guy right now that his theory is, well, I mean, we're doing a lot of experimental shit. We're using a lot of experimental shit over there, and we're just dumping grounds for surplus shit because we're gearing up for something else. Read China. I want you guys to understand something. You guys do realize, right? After Russia is the great Satan, China is already. A lot of you guys are already primed for hating China and now wanting to go to war with China and justifying that bullshit. Because if we spent, I don't know, $500 billion on, quote, protecting Ukraine from the Russians, what's going to happen when the Chinese go after Taiwan? What's going to be the logical syllogism that makes it so that we don't have to get involved in that one too? It's absolutely incredible to me that people, that it's crazy. But you know what? You guys are going to take this as me criticizing you. I'm not, I promise you. Because I'm telling you, because I was this 20 years ago. The government has figured out that there will always be a stable of young 20-year-old know-it-alls.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And the school
I knew
system,
everything when I was 20, y'all. I knew everything. Boy, silly as hell. All right, we can go ahead.
And the school systems, I was researching like public and private school systems, especially the public ones. And one of the reasons why they understand that, at least we talked about this before, that 20% at least of the students are not actually going to do well when they graduate school. They're either going to drop out or their scores are going to be too low for them to really be able to do anything. But that's built into the system. They want that because those are the ones that are like, I don't have anything. I'm going to have to go to the military. So then they advertise it that way. You don't need this or whatever. Like you can come here and get your career. You can go to college through this. But it's really crazy that's part of the plan, and they know that, and that they're, instead of giving these students the opportunity to learn, they're like they can, their blood can be money
100%.
for us.
100%.
And that's just really sick and sad.
100%.
And they don't know it. The kids don't know it, and the parents don't know it. And
They don't know.
The parents feel like that they're not qualified to teach their kid, and so they send them away to to school and let somebody else teach them. And then those teachers don't care as much as the parents would, and then kids start falling through the cracks, not doing so good, and then they end up in a situation. I mean, there was a couple I knew, and when they got married, the husband wasn't able to make enough money because he didn't have. He graduated, but he didn't really have like he passed school, but it wasn't like much beyond that. And he didn't feel like he was capable of doing more. He was, but then he ended up joining the military because that was the only way he was able to feed his family. He had to bring bread home. So
Perkinos is like, I didn't find this song particularly impressive. It's just the usual conservative whinging about how inconsistent liberals are. Liberals really don't care when you point this out. It's true. They really don't care. They really don't. Yeah, hell was like, this hardcore liberal stood with you from day one. No, hell, you were the one that started making me question the narrative here, because I was like, Slava Ukraine, all the dumb shit. It was, hell was the first one that like said so. I was like, wait a second, it sounds like she's not up on, sounds like Shorty's not really about the Ukraine shit. I've been out the game. So, I just kicked something out. I can't hear myself for some reason.
you unplugged it. You
Yeah.
unplugged both.
Yeah, hell was the reason actually that I started like questioning the Ukraine narrative.
Wow.
Because yeah, so I was like, wait a second, what's going on?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we were gonna, I had in my head we were gonna do some like benefit thing for Ukraine, all types of shit. And then I started looking into it, and I was like, holy shit, damn.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. Vin, literal Nazis are good now. Ask Trudeau. You know, I was watching Rising yesterday, so what happened to the Canadians? Shout out to Justin. Twice blackface Trudeau. Shout out to all my white friends. Shout out to all my white liberal friends who were telling me how racist Donald Trump was and blah 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 blah. With your man crush on Justin 2 times blackface Trudeau. We got hey, Applejack, we gotta call Trudeau Trudeau 2 times. Justin 2 times.
He did that twice?
Yeah, he showed up. You know, in the hood, you catch 2 bodies, they call you 2 times. You catch 3 bodies, they call you 3 times.
Oh, okay, all right.
So it's Justin Trudeau. He's probably the descendant of a bunch of Anglos who massacred, murdered, and killed all those Native Canadians over there. Probably. Shout out to Justin 2 times. Yeah, but like this is absolutely incredible to me. Like what's going on? Like I am on the one hand, I was talking to somebody. I said this period right here, probably like from 2016 to now, the next generation of psychological operators are going to call this the golden age of psychological operations. What we're in right now is the golden age of psychological operations. They played the long game, and you got to tip your hat to them. Then you had Trump in there, and when Trump was in office, Mr. Putin decided he didn't want that kind of energy.
100%, yeah.
But the entire time,
remember when he first got in, there was something with China. He shut down something with Kim Jong-un.
Yeah, but the entire time we were told that he was an asset of the Russians. Some of you in this room, I'm not going to name any names. Poor Helena. Helena was like, this is ridiculous.
We've all been wrong at some point.
Helena was like, what the hell is wrong with you people? She'd be struggling so much in the comment section because people would say this is like the dumbest shit in the world. And you know how smart she is. Like, everything's got to be like lined up. She was freaking out. She's like, you guys are idiots. You guys should read.
Dumb.
And then you had people telling her stuff. I'm like, you don't even... Yeah, so many things I can say.
Everybody's an expert.
Look, my point. Here's my point, guys. He did call out the racism among liberals, which I really loved, because somebody asked me like who I could tolerate more, like left-wing liberals or right-wing liberals. I'm like, I'm very close friends. Like at 3 a.m. and I think he's racist. And he probably thinks I'm racist. But that's not the, yeah, okay, fine. And then we're over it. So like if there's a boxing match, a black guy is fighting a white guy wins, he'll send me a message. Ha! And then like, when that white lady got sentenced to like 2 years, I was like, ha! You guys caught it out. Like, we go back and forth with it. He understands. He knows where I'm at. I know where he's at. I love it. I don't tolerate people. I love people like that. But the whole leftist, see, the leftist racist not only will say some dumb shit, but then the leftist racist will tell you how you're supposed to feel about it. Oh. That's the difference. So like,
I know how much you love
that. When Biden showed up and said, "You ain't black,"
yeah,
I literally had to shoot a video on Middle America to explain to a couple white liberals why that was bad.
What?
Literally.
I wonder. You probably.
So shout out to Samson. Shout out to Samson for going after the home court.
Oh my gosh.
Hey, look, that's correct. We are 90s Americans. How do you do, my fellow racists?
Yeah.
And it's not Perkinos, obviously. Perkinos is like my priest. He's like my high priest. Literally, like he's in my phone as priest. So it wasn't Perkinos. But the fact of the matter is, you know, eventually, guys, we got to stop falling for these tricks, man. Mm-hmm. Like, come on.
Yep.
What has Vladimir Putin done to you? I was listening to Hillary Clinton. She was talking about the grotesque and illegal invasion of Ukraine. Has Miss Clinton, Mr. Clinton, Mr. Bush, have any of them come on to the American people and say, you know, I voted for the war in Iraq. I voted to pass billions and billions of dollars in this GWAT, Global War on Terror, from, 2000. Have any of them ever come out and squared that and said, we were wrong and we learned from it? Maybe, if the American leaders ever had a moment like that, they could say something about Vladimir Putin.
Right.
People were saying, yo, Vin, is Vladimir Putin dangerous? I'm like, Vladimir Putin doesn't have the capability of doing what we do.
Right.
I said, who's got more bodies in the last 20 years
100%.
Between us and Vladimir? See, some of this, God bless you, I love you guys, but some of you guys have never been outside of America, and you've never been outside of the West. When I say the West, I'm talking about the standard of living and the norms and expectations that you have. Mm-hmm. When you go to other worlds, man, them people hate you, bro. You say, why do they hate us? Because you look down the street, there's another fucking American carrier there out on the side of the street there to fucking let them know, like, we'll fuck you up if you don't let us take your natural resources, dear listener. But when I was 20, you know why them people were mad at us? They hate us because of our freedom.
Yeah, honest to God, I mean, you guys aren't going to be surprised. But I literally thought that until I was in my 20s. And I went overseas, and I thought it was... Actually, no, even then, I still thought it must be because of our freedoms. Because we had to get from one location to the other, and so it was my first time hitchhiking. And we went in this vehicle, and I was like, everybody was talking. I was like, and I'm an American. And like the temperature in that car got so friggin' cold and dark. I thought to myself, perhaps I should have kept that information to myself. And then one of my friends was there, and he's like, but I'm from Canada. And then he was like, oh, a Canadian. And then they had like this joyous occasion. I was like, wow, this is so weird. And then when we left there, I remember thinking, oh, that must have been because, they're jealous of our freedoms. Doesn't really make a whole lot of sense.
It worked.
It's not like Canada is...
It worked. You know why? Because as Americans, you don't want to take any accountability.
Nope.
You saw them horrible videos of them people jumping out of windows and shit. You don't want to say, yo, that was our fault, though.
Right.
You don't want to say that.
Right.
So, yeah, no matter how irrational it was, we kind of oh, yeah, they hate us for our freedom. They don't even...
I feel like I remember when you first confronted me on that. It was... I remember being a little bit uncomfortable.
They don't even view us as free people.
Yeah.
They don't view us as free people.
Blowing up people all over the place, people's weddings, kids, everything.
Stealing
resources, bullying around.
And how we treat women, like...
Yeah. I mean...
They don't view America is freedom.
What do you mean? And how we treat women? What?
Well, like girls, everybody's naked all the time. You got to take off your clothes to get any attention in this country. You got to, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, but Western women are so institutionalized to being assaulted and ogled, they don't even understand like that's they're under oppression.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Right.
But yeah, white America does not want you to know true history. That's why you got to homeschool. Yeah, at the end he was talking. He was sitting there like, I'm yapping and I haven't been rapping a lot because I'm just yapping my gums, which is a mistake. It's a mistake. Your job is to yap your gums, because the war is being fought at the psychological level, and maybe. You know, you have the Jimmy Dores of the world screaming into the wilderness. You have, I mean, look, Churchill during, and you know, I'm saying this, Prime, because I'm hoping that you can find some way to get in contact with this guy, because I was a little bit concerned at the end where he says, yeah, I'm just yapping my gums. Churchill wasn't out there in World War II doing work, doing all that shit. Churchill's role was to keep people steady. Churchill's role was to get the rhetoric out there.
Rhetorician, right?
Yeah. We could talk to those people and ease their minds. Other people had roles, and they're you know, it's just like when you sign up, right, in the military, in MOS, you got communications, you get weapons. There's a lot of places you can go. Intelligence, psychological, like a lot of things you can do. It's the same thing. It's the same thing in the war effort. You do need a propaganda and a counter-propaganda outlet, and your communication style in this medium, though not necessarily as original as possible. There you go, Perkinos. I gave you one. But it is cutting right to the heart of the issues. And one of the things I love about this current iteration of hip-hop is that the rhyme schemes and things are not as complex, but the message is a lot more raw, and it's a lot easier to get your hands around to say, okay, this is what dude is saying. You see what I'm saying?
100%. When I was listening to it, I was like, when it first started, and I was like, oh no, we're going into a rap. A lot of times I get lost when a rap is going on. Like, what are we talking about? Sometimes it's the phrases that they use that I don't know what that even relates to, because it's coming from hip hop, and I'm not immersed in that culture from a young age. So yeah, when he started, I was like, how's this gonna go? But it was super clear. I was able to understand the message and where he was going with it, and he had a lot of, you know, really good points, and I felt like it was really coming from his heart when he was putting it out there and what was bothering him, you know, and I thought he did really, really, really good with it.
Yeah, and the thing he said about Zelensky was also really interesting. Zelensky, somebody's like, oh, you hate Zelensky. It's like, I don't hate Zelensky. I think Zelensky, my opinion on Zelensky is that he's a sympathetic figure. He's a sympathetic figure to me.
Really?
Because in my view, remember that video that we shot in Middle America about a year and a half ago? Is when the Azov Nazis, not Nazis, there's no Nazis in Ukraine, that's Russian propaganda. But we had this clip where there was a confrontation between the head of the Azov Battalion and his crew,
I remember
and
that.
Zelensky.
Yep.
And Zelensky showed up and said, I'm not a sucker. That's what he said to the dude. And the dude laughed at him.
Well.
And then his boys in the back like stepped up a little bit, like, what's the deal, bro? What you on? Nothing happened. Those Azov bastards kept killing those poor Russian people over there in the Donbass. And you know what they did when the media came to them and said, yo, that was a very interesting video. The Azov guy said, we covered all of this. We quoted it and everything. Azov dude said, if he was ever to really betray our country like that, we would kill him and hang him in the middle of the square. Now I got some very honest, intelligent people in Middle America saying, well, you know, there's Nazis in America. Yeah, Joe from fucking bumfuck Tennessee, okay? 19-year-old Joe in bumfuck Tennessee running around in the woods saying Sieg Heil is not the same thing as what I just fucking described.
No.
Those guys were out there killing Russian civilians. Zelensky ran on peace. He goes there, and you got to credit him, he confronted them. They laughed in his face and then threatened to murder him. On the other side, you have the United States government, who obviously does not give a fuck about Zelensky or a single Ukrainian, and is using the bodies of these people. Think about what we're talking about. We're using the bodies of these Ukrainian men, women, and children in order to foment this proxy war. So now we've got the Europeans as a client continent of us for oil and natural gas. That is what is happening. Your country's not giving all this money to these people, bro, because of the goodness of our heart. Think. Yemen, to fix Yemen, wouldn't cost us a fucking quarter of that. You go to the Saudis and say stop doing that shit, and then you pour a couple $1 billion in the relief stuff, and you're good to go. Our country, if we were good natured, you know that thing in the 300, you would find that I'm kind. This shit is incredible. It's incredible to me. It's so obvious. God almighty. Now look. You can't say fuck Russia, you can't say fuck Ukraine. That represents hundreds of millions of people. But I understand why Americans are saying fuck Ukraine. I understand. People getting worked out here. Getting worked. People working to the bone, working their ass off and got nothing to show for it.
When he said, like, I'm afraid I'm going to put the wrong thing on my friggin' taxes and end up in jail.
Correct.
For money that you're taking from me because I didn't
Correct.
give enough of my money to you. And honestly, every time I do my taxes, I have that feeling. I'm like, what if I put the wrong thing? I was just talking to you about it a couple days ago.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, but I got to sign my name at the bottom.
Especially
I gotta
now.
make sure everything is
Especially
100
now.
on. Yeah.
You got multiple businesses.
But then when you stop and you think about it and you're like, yo, this is my money.
Yeah, it's like you
They're
need
dipping their hands into our money. They're taking it and they're spending it on things that we have strong convictions against.
Well, that's one part of it, but to the people in the comment section, we don't know what they're spending the money on because the shit is lost.
Well, you're right.
How do you
right.
lose billions of dollars?
Yeah. Billions of dollars.
Like, we don't
Unbelievable.
know. We don't know. None of us knows what they're doing with that money, bro.
This is that double standard thing where, like, a parent will do one thing, they expect a certain thing out of the kid, but then the parent will do the very thing that they're telling the kids not to do. And it's the same thing. Like, you have the government, they're taking $6 billion, or was it $7 billion that they lost track, or was it 14? What was the number?
Like 120. It was a ridiculous number at the DOD.
An outlandish amount of money has been lost, and we're supposed to accept this. They should be giving us a detailed report of what's going on. It's our money. It's the people's money. But there's not enough of us saying, yo, like.
But see, that's what he was saying, like the end, like, yo, we got to do something.
Yeah.
I mean.
And he said there's more of us than them.
And look, say what you want. I don't believe if Donald Trump is a president that there is an invasion.
Right.
There's nothing you can do to convince me.
And the money situation wasn't as bad when Trump was in.
Wasn't this? Well, I mean, look, man, we were getting them checks. I'm sorry. I was getting stimulus checks with Trump.
Oh, we did?
Don't you
that was
remember?
just with Biden.
Oh,
I remember
no.
Biden, like, started
Remember when
putting
Trump was somebody's going to sign
Oh, right.
No,
Yeah.
the child tax credit shit.
Right.
That was all Trump.
Right.
Trump, Trump got us all child tax credits. We were cool, bro. Now all that child tax money is going into Ukraine. Man,
To kill children.
To kill children. Yeah, man, fuck these
So
people,
we're
bro.
supposed to be okay with this. I don't think so. No way. Something needs to change. This is outrageous.
You guys have 180 since I started watching you a few years ago, and I love seeing it. So look.
Character development.
If
People
you're
change.
a praying person, you got to pray for Zelensky. I feel bad for him. I really do. I mean, obviously, cowardice is a sin. But will you think you think you could do better? I shot a video of one of these guys, these Ukrainian dudes. He had put out a tweet about peace or something like that. They kidnapped his daughter. The Azov dudes. He shot a video begging them to bring his daughter back. That's the people y'all supporting, yo. They're horrible people.
That's so bad.
They're terrible people.
She's gonna be.
I'm not talking about the guy that said he wanted peace or his daughter. I'm talking about the motherfuckers who kidnapped his daughter. And now that you know that they do shit like that, you are now responsible relative to whether or not you continue to support this bullshit.
She back home now?
Yeah, I'm not. Come on, man. Like, look, there is no difference between me, you, Ukrainian, and Russian. You can eeny, meeny, miny, mo, and randomly pick any Russian and Ukrainian. You say, what's important to you? You know what they're going to tell you? My family, my favorite sports team. I've got a job that I work. Okay, I go home. play around with my kids a little bit, roll around with my wife, go to sleep and wake up and repeat process times 5 billion. That's what most human beings are trying to do, bro. Man, them Russian people aren't out here like trying to do that shit. They're not out here trying to like destroy the planet. Just like I had to tell people, no, your average American doesn't think they're destroying the planet. People don't believe it. I'm like, nah, there's no way y'all don't know. It's like, listen, you're in a completely different world. Them people ain't even thinking about you, bro. Like, so I was trying to explain to dude, like, he's thinking, oh, I'm going to do this, or blah, it's going to end up on TV, and all the Americans are going to get so upset it's going to be a blah, blah. I'm like, it's like, I'm going to sacrifice myself. Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, man, you dumb as hell, bro.
Oh, wow.
I was like, this is America.
That's right.
We won't care. You know, in this little part of the world, when somebody gets killed unjustly, you know, they take his coffin and parade him through the streets, and you start mourning. It's hundreds of people just mourning and mourning. It has a giant impact, and somebody usually pays a price for that body in that situation, and he's thinking that way. I'm like, this is America. They will beat you to death. Shout out to Emmett Till. They put that boy's face all over the newspaper. That didn't end racism. Them boys still walked out not guilty. What you on? That was 40, 50 years before, come on, man. Anyway, really good song. I really enjoyed it. Well, I enjoyed is probably a bad adjective, but
It had some Eminem vibe, right?
well, anytime there's a white rapper, it's gonna be like that. They don't, you know, they only have that one template to go off of. You know, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. There's not a lot of them. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So shout out to Samson. I liked it. I don't know what the solution is, man. You know what I'm saying? Like Jimmy Dore says, like vote harder. You know, like I will say though, right now, if you tell me there is a Trump Vivek Ramaswamy ticket, I'm going. I'm voting
yeah,
for Trump.
I do too. I like Vivek.
I'm telling you, get rid of the fucking Department of Education and give me back my money, bro. I'm serious, bro. Like, get my money out of the DOD. Nah, I can't say that. You know why you can't say get my money out of DOD? Because if our country gets invaded, you're gonna want that American soldier to start putting some rounds down range for you. So you gotta, you know what I'm saying? Like, let's not be crazy, but at the same time, man.
Let's just make sure that we know where that 150 whatever billion dollars are.
Yeah, and
Take
you know,
all of that 150 that we lost and put it.
I apologize to all the black people in the world because I now know I'm not black because I'm not gonna vote for Joe Biden. Well, my blackness got evaporated by the Lord Joe Biden in 2020 because I didn't vote for that. I didn't vote for dude.
That's right. That's right. So you lost your card. I'm no longer in an interracial relationship.
right.
I'm married to a white man. But I voted for Biden, so it looks like I'm black.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. I didn't vote for Biden. I didn't do that shit.
We're fucking duped. Shout out to this dude. Samson, I want to talk to you, by the way.
Yes.
Let's do an interview. But if anything,
Vin and Sori at gmail.com.
If anything, dude, you gotta keep it up, bro. You gotta keep it up. You're not just flapping your gums. It's important. It's important. Because if you don't come out and say that shit, you got 100,000 people like, oh yeah, and like, and there was a couple times in the song where I'm like, finally, okay, I thought it was crazy. Like, that's enough. That gives somebody like, okay, I can go on another day. Somebody else is seeing what I'm seeing. I'm not crazy. Because sometimes when you talk to these liberals, man, it's like a gaslighting experience. It's like they're telling you to not see what you're seeing. Jeez. Like, not see what you're seeing. Brianna's like, how come every time we try to celebrate one of these motherfuckers, it's always a Nazi? The Canadians did it. So Trudeau, I didn't tell you my finish the story. It's like 30 minutes ago it started. Trudeau and all of them, they brought a Ukrainian soldier who fought against the Nazis bravely. Everybody stood up. It was a wonderful moment. This guy was 98 years old. He was a fucking literal Nazi, bro. Literally, the guy was a literal Nazi. 98 years old. SubhanAllah. God's keeping him on the earth because he feels sorry for him because he's about to chuck him into the hellfire.
He's giving him a chance to repent.
Yeah, he's giving him a chance to
repent. Literally, that's what the Bible said.
Yeah.
It's the goodness of God that's meant to lead you to repentance.
They stood that boy up. He was waving and shit. You know, liver spots on his face because he's evil and he's 98. Yeah. So then after that, everybody was like, yo, this dude's a literal Nazi. He literally killed Jews in World War II. Like, literally.
Damn.
Literally fought for Hitler. Had to, what? So they had to fire. Somebody's head had to roll. But then, you remember the whole National Women's Day when they were featuring...
Oh, yeah, and then they had their
symbols,
and there was all these Nazi symbols on their stuff.
Then they took them to Disney World. They shut down Disney World for the Ukraine. And again, they were there with their Nazi patches again in Disney World. It's like, Brianna's like, yo, every time we try to celebrate one of these motherfuckers, they just happen to be a Nazi. And the response that I'm getting from people is, well, there's Nazis in America too. It's like, come on.
Wow. That's ridiculous.
Look, see, I don't, he was literally an SS Waffen Grenadier unit. Literally. SS!
I'm sorry, this is horrible, but it's like, how is this happening? How? Why is this happening, though? You know, there's like a funny side of it, but then it's like, yo, how come this keeps happening?
That's why I'm saying. That's why I'll message and
But then
send
everybody
Prime.
melts down at this, like, oh, this person might be a Nazi.
Right.
But I thought we didn't care.
Or somebody like lets a racist word slip or something else. So God forbid some white person slips up and like completes a verse in a rap song. You know, jigga my. I mean, what the that guy. We need to put that guy on a cross. That guy's got to be on a cross. Meanwhile, this motherfucker's goose stepping,
No.
and then all the Canadians, and there's Justin Trudeau in his blackface.
Ridiculous.
Oh my God. And they really believe that they're like on the side of righteousness and progress. I don't get it.
Unbelievable.
I don't get it.
Well, whatever you have it, this is a 9.2 for me. I think he did a great job. I gotta say, I like the touch of being in the garage.
Yeah. Just one more thing about Trudeau. Remember those truckers? Those poor truckers? They're trying to feed their families, but then they had the whole vaccine
Shut down
thing.
their friggin' bank accounts.
Went after their bank accounts because they were Nazis. Why? Because one obvious plant from the government, waved a flag. Those guys were Nazis, had their money, all types of shit taken from them.
But you remember that thing?
Their
where
entire country turned
Ukraine
against
on
them.
fire or something like that?
Yeah.
That whole thing? There was Russian flags up in. Remember they had
Yes.
those flags up in there?
Yeah.
But they're not.
So
There's multiple
so
flags.
let me figure this out. In Canada, we will never allow Nazis onto our streets. That's only for the floor of the government.
Yo.
We can only have Nazis on the floor of the government, but not on the street. We're doomed.
I believe we're seeing some inconsistencies.
We're doomed. I'm trying to tell you. All right. I like this. It's a 10. It's a 10.
9.2.
I don't know who Al Bradley is, but I like him. That's how insane they are. Same Parliament called the truckers a white supremacist. Literally said when they honked twice, they were signaling Heil Hitler.
Wait, what?
You know when the trucker goes, doo-doo?
Yeah.
Okay, they were saying that when the truckers were doing, because you know they'll do
Come
that.
on!
It meant Heil Hitler.
Stop! This is insane.
I can't do this anymore. I can't do this anymore.
So
Al
when
Bradley, you're
you
banned
mean-
from the channel. Nobody who makes me cry can stay on the channel. The two. But don't you guys remember that during the Trump administration? Like any little thing. You remember this thing? This was like a big thing.
Yes.
And one time we were at the Apple store and,
you
you
had to
took
do
the
that
picture.
yes.
And literally I had people message me, I thought you were better than that, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, what the fuck? But you can't see Nazis in Ukraine. All right. I have to go.
You were better than that.
I have to go.
All right, we're coming right back. We've got another song.
We got.
Okay, are we doing the one
we got another song. We gotta get Al Bradley some sort of president or something like that. That was a fucking. Oh my God. Honk twice for Heil Hitler. Oh my God.
Shut down their bank accounts now.
Shout out to Canada.
All right,
Got me
shout
crying.
out to Canada.
Heil Hitler. What?
All right, you guys. We'll be back.
I'm really struggling with it.
haven't seen him laugh like this in a while.
Because I'm certain that there were mad Canadians that believed that bullshit. And probably had to go to counseling.
Joking?
Probably had to go to counseling in the highway because those fuckers keep beeping the horn. Oh my gosh, dude. Oh my gosh. This Al Bradley guy. Al, you're banned from the channel, bro. All right,
you guys. We'll be right back.
No. All right, now here. Thank you so much, Al. Vin, don't forget your answer to your 2:45 a.m. question. Okay, so it was actually my 2:42 a.m. question. Here's the question. I'm going to ask it again. Heil Hitler. All right, here we go. If you were the lone superpower in the world, but you were a democracy, who would be the enemy you'd want to neutralize first or the most? So that was the question. Who do you have?
I don't know because maybe I've been properly propagandized, but I do feel like America fucks up a lot of stuff in the world. Simultaneously, I do like it when bad things are happening and we go shut stuff down. So I would say, you know, if I wasn't an American, probably the Americans. Go ahead. What do you have?
Well, I'll read it again. If you were the lone superpower in the world, but you were a democracy, who would be the enemy you'd want to neutralize the most? Robert Wallace.
The selfish.
Robert Wallace has the answer that I came to, and this is why I had my amazing epiphany. The only thing stopping you from complete and total world domination in a democracy is people who can vote you out and say, well, we're not going to let you do that. If you're the lone superpower, but you're in a democracy where your citizenry can fire you, and you want to maintain power, then the main enemy that you need to neutralize, notice I didn't say kill. The main enemy you would need to neutralize in a democracy, if you're the lone superpower, would be your own citizens. Because they're the only people that could theoretically stop you from doing whatever the fuck you want.
Right.
Think about that and the implications.
Wow.
That came to me at 2:42 a.m.
That's really interesting.
Are we losing our democracy? Yep. But as was demonstrated on January 6th, we've got like 4% of it still left.
It's so crazy because people can get propagandized and they can believe that they're free because they have the opportunity to vote. But you're right. They were made to think the way that they're thinking. And what's his Rockefeller? The Rockefeller?
Yeah, $1 extra.
He was saying something about shoot, now I got the $1 thing in my head. He was basically saying because he started working with the school systems, and I'm not going to remember all the things, but he basically was saying he didn't want a nation of thinkers, he wanted a nation of workers. And so, you know, the school systems are set up that way. They're not trying to teach people to think for themselves because that complicates things. And then you get people that are thinking logically for themselves. Like, that's one of the things that we teach in school is logic. They're abandoning logic. They're abandoning reasoning in schools. And it's come down to, you need to regurgitate back to the teachers what they say to you, or what the books say to you, because you need to be a good student. You need to be a good person that puts back what's being told to you. I don't think so. Yeah. No way. We want free thinkers here, and we want people that are going to follow the logic, and they're going to follow to the logical end of a thing and say, this is or is not going to work. But yeah, there's a lot of, that's crazy. You're right. It would be us.
Yeah, it would be us. It would be you guys. It would be the dude that we just heard. It would be, and like I said, I didn't say kill. I said neutralize. There's lots of ways to silence a person. Isn't that true?
Yep.
Yeah, a lot of ways to silence a person.
Yep.
All right. We shall return. Another song will be on the way. Shout out to Ascender Prime. Shout out to Samson. I'm Vin.
I'm sorry.
If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the Filthy Capitalist option. As Sori says, 125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. 125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and then get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at insori@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is the community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go in the village, facebook.com/Vin and Sori. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy our merch.
Buy our merch indeed. A child shall lead them.
To buy our merch.
Yes, dear listener. Yes, dear listener. Yes, dear listener. Kind of back. Yeah. That'll be good enough. That'll be it.
Oh, jeez.
Okay, for the 10 millionth time.
Just tripped here.
I'd say, let's switch it.
Right here? There's.
No, that's not it.
Oh,
Talk
okay.
to the-
Yeah, just.
I got to talk to the people.
All right. So coming up next, we have Unsigned Hype. You guys are familiar with this?
Unsigned!
If I had the
Right in
button,
middle.
I would put that little horn in there. So Unsigned Hype is where people that have, worked on their own song, created their own thing, are able to get their song reviewed. So we've got the homie Mason is up tonight. Here you go, babe. Right there. So the
Is this
homie
Mason?
Mason is up.
Cum nimis absurdum.
You're gonna have to download it.
I got you.
Okay. And then it's a timestamp because it's a piece of his album.
Yep.
So,
Why? What's going on? So he's in a band.
Well, now I'm second guessing myself on whether or not it was an unsigned hype or if it was just a regular review. I think you're going to have to look at that because that stuff looks really professional. So either he did a damn good job.
He said, I included a brief band bio. I'm pretty sure that's him.
Yeah. Wow. Mason, good work.
Why? Is it too professional looking?
Yeah, it just looked like, and look at how many subscribers he has.
Yeah? That's a decent amount. 18K?
Yeah.
18,000?
Yeah,
That's good.
usually our unsigned hype groups have like under 10,000.
Under 10,000. He's usually 200-300.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So, wow. Okay. So it is an unsigned hype. And he actually has a full album already out there. So if you guys are interested in that, let us know. We can drop the link for you guys. We're gonna end up breaking up this stream into individual reviews, and this is going to be part of it. So in the description of this reviews video, when it gets broken up individually, you're going to find the information for his band and everything else. So do you need my help, babe?
Nope.
To get this moving. Okay. So
Downloaded.
regular reviews are $125, but then if you get 3 reviews or more, then the price drops down to $75 per song, and it stays at that. Doesn't matter, it doesn't matter if you get pissed off by us and leave for a couple years and come back, or if you if you decide you have someplace to be and you leave and you come back. If you're at the 75, you stay at the 75 forever.
Forever.
Yeah. As
All right,
Vinny said.
guys. I'm actually pretty excited. What's the timestamp for?
I don't have any of my notes.
Gotcha.
So that's the way this is. So we've got a full album here. We're about to do that. The unsigned hype reviews, your local reviews, the ones that are songs that people generate themselves and are looking to get kind of like some get their name out there and get, more people to see their shit. You can come through and you can go to our Patreon, and on there is where you're going to find the Unsigned hype option. And then that's how you get your review done. So we can't guarantee a positive review. We have given really low scores before. Unfortunately, sorry to the people who put their art out there and we gave a low score to, but we have to maintain our integrity. So we're honest. So honestly, I think this album cover and all this looks very professional. But
it does. I just don't know.
Like some real...
I don't know where the timestamp is.
Oh yes, cool. So open up. I'm sorry, right here was band review.
Band review.
Yeah.
Okay.
Scroll down. Like it's up in that, and if
like I know what song 4 we wish to be commanded, but I don't know what timestamp song 4 is. Since there.
Okay. You know what? Just go to the email.
Okay.
Just go to the email. I don't know how that. I know he did say it because. So here, Mason, right there.
Is that him?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I think he said it was on the last.
1825.
Yeah.
All right.
So
fine.
weird.
All right. Here we go. All right. So let me read to you the bio of this band. The name of this song is "We Wish to Be Commanded." Okay. Now here it is. Alt-right.
Yeah.
That's smart. Alt-right. ALTRITE. Not the other alt-right. It's what some in the FBI would describe as a militant Cristero extremist, proudly hailing from Southern California city of Santa Ana. Their presence at infamous shows in Los Angeles, California, Bend, Oregon, and New York, New Jersey have been well documented by notable news sources. However, the only identity that is known publicly is the conductor and composer himself, El Maestro Mason. All other musicians have yet to be exposed or documented, and there are rumors suggesting that alt-right has numerous members all around the country, as well as the rest of the world. It is also rumored that only musicians of Mexican heritage and Catholic faith are even considered to perform as alt-right.
Okay.
The long-time erroneous claim that alt-right is a white supremacist hate group is countered by their debut album entitled Cum Nimis Absurdum, wherein the proclamation of Mexican identity extremism is made. With their music, they aim to highlight the rise of this movement within the Mexican population. It has left listeners divided and scratching their heads. With this said, they only wish to see the conversion and repentance of their fellow brothers and sisters in Christ. Viva Cristo Rey! I don't know how I feel about what I just read, but I am extremely interested now in hearing what you have to say, my boy. What'd you say?
I was not sure if that was. I realize now it's the lyrics.
I'm assuming.
It is. I set them up earlier.
Okay, so this is alt-right. We wish to be commanded. This should be interesting. Kirkenos, I'm going to need you to pay attention here. I feel like I'm about. There's some shit I'm going to miss that's important, and I'm going to need you to supplement that. To come through. Did I download this video already? Let me see. Downloads. Nope.
Ah!
There you go.
Okay. All right. So people have thought that they were a white supremacist group because it seems they only hire people of Mexican.
Yeah, like you got to be Mexican and you have to be Catholic. So there are a couple gateways to entry. I don't know how that makes them white supremacists. How can you be white supremacist if you're all Mexican? Wouldn't you be a Mexican supremacist?
I would think that too. Yeah, but
you know how shit goes. It's like the guy said. It's like Perk said. Like we don't even care about logic anymore.
Yeah, that's it.
We don't care about being logically consistent. We'll just say a bunch of contradictory shit. It's all right. All right, here we go, guys. We wish to be commanded. I'm gonna get you the lyrics soon as well. Never you fail. Never you fail.
Here we go.
All right, we wish to be commanded.
Let's check it out.
All right, 1825. Right? That's a good intro.
Spaniards always have.
All right, so we're gonna let that play out, and then we're gonna go. All right, here we go. All right, so 1825. So now we're on to the new song. All right, guys, here we go. Alt-right, we wish to be commanded. Are you nervous? Are you nervous for this song?
This is so funny because I do feel some nerves right now.
Yeah,
Why?
I don't know. You looks like you're nervous. Does anybody else feel nervous? Type 3 if you feel nervous. All right, here we go. Alt-right. Let's do it.
Franco says, we are Catholics. In Spain, one is a Catholic or one is nothing. The head of the Catholic Action Party says, Crusaders of Spain, we must conquer. Conquer as Spaniards always have, with a sword in our hands, courage in our hearts, and a prayer on our lips. The Bishop of Badajoz says, we must join together to rebuild the Spain of Ferdinand and Isabella. The cross and the sword together will return glory to our native land. The Spanish National War was a holy war, the most holy the world has ever known. The Archpriest of Burgos says during High Mass, you who listen to me, you who call yourselves Christians, show no mercy on the destroyers of churches and the murderers of priests. May their seed be trampled underfoot, for it is the evil seed, the devil's seed.
scheduled departure to the prison is in 2 hours. You now have the option to terminate and be cremated on the premises. If you elect this option, notify the duty sergeant in your processing area.
This guy, of all the unsigned hypers, this guy is the most thoughtful. From everything, the setup, the way that I'm actually blown away by this album.
Oh.
We haven't heard, you know, I mean, we've heard from this album. This is literally the first time I've heard anything from this guy.
Yeah.
But I can tell when somebody has a vision.
Yep.
Like, I want to be in a band. I want to play music. Blah 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 blah. This guy's got a vision. There's all this lore around the band. Like, oh, some people say blah blah blah. Man, ain't no rumors about your band, bro. That's lore that you're spitting about your band, which I think is brilliant. It's brilliant because it has all this mystery to it. Like, I heard this is a rumor. We don't know though. It's like Undertaker in the WWF. I used to really believe that, like, because in wrestling, they had these video games, and so they had all these biographies for all these
I feel
people.
like when you just announced that, you just told us that that guy was behind the curtain on The Wizard of Oz.
What do you mean?
Remember that, like the head?
Oh, yeah.
I feel like you were like, yeah, he's behind the curtain, because you just said the thing.
Well, yeah, but like... I was going to go somewhere. I decided against it. Yeah, so, no, I really, really like this song. But, I'm just talking about, like, the vision of, like, spinning the lore at the beginning about, like, people are saying this about the band, and, like, members of the band could be all across the country. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, like, you've done band practice, like, you don't randomly get people from, hey, let's play together. Like, that's not how it works. That's just part of the lore. Right? You see
well,
what I'm saying?
We've had people from other places.
You know what I'm saying, right? Like, I'm complimenting, dude. Like, it's very immersive.
Yeah,
it's
and
extremely immersive.
From the album cover to the way that it was put together, I'm telling you, if somebody did not tell me that this was Unsigned hype, I would not have known. I would not have known. You guys saw me. I thought for sure I screwed something up because I'm like, this can't be a... Because usually it seems to me it's always pretty obvious. Like when it's... People are just starting out, you know, they're putting their stuff together and they're putting it out there. I mean, shoot, when you guys see our stuff, you might think amateurs. Or you'll think...
Yeah, well, this guy's definitely not an amateur.
No.
Like, even like the little interlude after that song, like there's a whole... It makes you... Like, okay, something's going on here. There's a story. There's something. And everybody makes a story. But the way this guy presented this, it was absolutely
and like
brilliant.
we said, it's a full album. So this is just like one piece.
Other thing, too, about him is sonically, he didn't sound like anybody.
Right.
I
mean, I definitely heard, like, blackened death metal.
Absolutely.
You know, for sure. But
100%.
But I wasn't like, yo, this is like...
But the musicianship, it was unique. It was... Yeah, I'm blown away. Like, definitely going to get into the lyrics for sure. But, like, the effort it takes to have the vision, spin the lore, you know, that type of thing.
Yep.
It's, I can tell that when he sits down to write, like, he's trying to talk about something. Okay. And there was a bit of Marduk in there for 275. So I'm very interested to hear Perkinos's commentary on this.
Can you stretch that so I can...
Explain a little bit more? Okay.
Well, I thought there was another way that you did it before. Or just click on the like, just go on the link directly so you can make it big and we can just see the lyrics. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can leave it small on the screen for them and just click on the Trello thing and then just zoom the Trello thing. Because we don't need to see us, you know, as long as we have our comment section in that. Okay.
And I think this was in the context of the Mexican War for Independence or whatever, because the guy was giving that speech at the beginning.
Yeah.
So, but there's definitely going to be some controversial parts in this song. But go ahead, what were you going to say?
I was just going to start reading it.
Okay.
Have you noticed that the world keeps turning, no matter how bleak things might seem? We're truly in darkness, waiting for revival, and while we are waiting, we suffer with a desire to destroy our adversaries with swiftness and ferocious and furious anger. God will not be mocked.
Get him in this guy.
Or down the hall at that little chair or whatever. Let him crawl around down the hall or something.
Maybe in the car.
Okay, so we're truly in darkness, waiting for revival, and while we are waiting, we suffer with a desire to destroy our adversaries with a swiftness and furious anger. God will not be mocked.
Google cum nimis absurdum.
God will not be mocked. Seriously, I got to tell you guys a story, because when I saw that line, it just reminded me. I was at this youth conference one time when I was a teenager. I was 16. I was there with my boyfriend. They called everybody to the front. They called everybody to the front of the church, like if you want prayer or you want to just worship closer to where the band is or whatever. So we were all up there, and I had my hand on his shoulder, and I was like jumping, and we were worshiping, and he was worshiping, and I was worshiping. And then this lady comes up to me. I'm not joking. She grabbed my arm like this, and she pulled me down, and she whispered in my ear. She said, "The Lord will not be mocked." Apparently my worship was mocking God in her opinion. She was just like, now that I'm my age, I'm like, she was just a jealous and bitter older lady that saw the situation, and instead of worshiping God, she was nitpicking the teenagers at the altar. I was 16 years old, just a kid. It was crazy. Anyway, when I saw that line, it reminded me.
Okay, so the name...
Probably have some unforgiveness toward that lady, I don't know.
Okay, so was that cum nimis absurdum? Okay, so this guy's like, hey, people are saying that we're racist, but we're not really racist.
Yeah.
Well,
no, they were saying that they're white supremacists. Okay, but what? I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you said before that.
There's a lot of, like, subliminal anti-Semitism in the song.
Okay.
That apparently is not as... Okay, so cum nimis absurdum is an edict from the Roman Catholic Church that forbade the construction of new synagogues and decreed the demolition of any others beyond the one permitted. Furthermore, Jews were not allowed to own real property and were required to sell those properties which they owned within a set period of time. So it's basically a pogrom against Jewish people.
Wow.
Initiated by the Catholic Church. Okay.
Why?
So
because of what happened to Jesus, or what? This is the first time I've ever heard of Catholic people saying anything about the Jews. I've never heard of this before.
Crusades, right? I mean, during the Crusades, the people that got a lot of the... You remember, we talk about baptizing
Honest
Jews?
to goodness, whenever we talk about the Crusades,
them.
the only thing that I think about is them going to the pagans.
Well, that would be the Muslims, right? The Muslims. The Crusades
I just remember them saying they went to the pagans. I don't actually know the details about it. I just know that it was horrible and... people were killed.
No. You're thinking about something else. Because we talked about Crusades a million times. The Crusades was us going up against them. You know, Salahuddin and all that shit.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, on the way and on the way back, the Jews they did a lot of horrible shit to Jewish people. And the Catholic Church has a pretty terrible record with Jewish people. And then what happened during the Protestant Reformation, Martin Luther was like, the Jews obviously can't accept Catholicism because they have the wrong doctrine, but now since I've restored the doctrine, then they're going to come in droves. That's what Luther thought. And the Jews were like, well, yeah, man, like, we agree with you. The Catholics are wrong, but you can have your Jesus. We'll stay over here with Judaism. And then your boy Martin Luther said, oh, yeah? And he wrote this little tractate of the Jews and their lies, which is complete anti-Semitic, which was then used with great effect in Nazi Germany.
Wait, it was anti-Semitic in what he wrote, or you're saying the title is?
No, it was anti-Semitic. Yeah, you're generalizing about Jewish people, calling them murderers of God, all the rest, ridiculous. So, the Bible never holds the Jewish nation of all time responsible for the death of Jesus Christ.
Oh, right.
The Bible says that the Jewish people were involved. It says the Romans, Pontius Pilate, Julian, your servants, they were gathered against your holy servant Jesus, Herod, Pontius Pilate, and the rest of the Jews, and they did to him whatever your will and your hand determined beforehand should happen. So all this shit about we're going to resent Jewish people for murdering Christ, ridiculous. If them people did not do that, you'd go straight to hell.
Right. Right.
You know, this antipathy that we've had with Jews. Now I will say there is a marked difference between the Second Temple Judaism of Jesus' day and what passes as Judaism today. I'm very, very sorry, but the vast majority of the ceremonial laws in the Old Testament, particularly relative to the atonement and the clearing of your sin, was temple-centric. and you have a destroyed temple as of 70 AD and no future promise of a rebuilt temple. And that's the difference. See, you had the Babylonian exile, and all the temple got destroyed, but you had Jeremiah, Isaiah. Go ahead, go skip to the end of those books. Ezekiel, Jeremiah, Isaiah. The temple gets restored, and God shows up again, and we all have peace. So there was always this, okay, the temple's going to get destroyed. We're going to get invaded by Babylonians, but we're going to repent of our sins, and then later on, we're going to go rebuild the temple. We're
And
going to
this happened back and forth to them throughout.
No, they only got, the temple wasn't destroyed like every year. You know what I'm saying? The Solomonic temple was destroyed.
But throughout their history, they had times where they would go into slavery and then come back out of it, and
Correct.
all of it was because of their relationship or lack thereof with the Most High.
Yeah, but like the guy, and I like I said, I really admire the intellect of the guy, of the Mason, whatever. But at the same time, it's like you've got this phrase that's talking about a pogrom that was against Jewish people.
That's crazy.
So how could you? They're not allowed to build it, and then like throughout the song, he references the synagogue of Satan. So again, that was terminology that was used during the pre-Holocaust to get people ready to actually do that shit. So, like, I'm not saying it's going to affect my rating of the song, but it's more like come on, bro, you knew what you were doing. You knew what you were doing. You knew what he was doing. Especially a guy that's like thinking this deeply and everything. He knew exactly what he was doing. The album cover is a somewhat well-known painting of Jews preparing to kill a Christian child during a blood libel ritual. Right. That was the other thing. Is Jews drink blood. They had like the goblinish type of Jew, and he's drinking blood. Like this was a giant conspiracy theory that the Jews were taking Christian children and opening them up and drinking their blood and all the rest of it. And that's one of the reasons why they're always prospering in the society and we're always poor. It's not because you have horrible hygienic practices. No. It's them Jews kidnapping wonderful Christian kids, making these incisions, and now they're gobbling up all the blood. That's on the picture of this guy's record.
Yeah, I saw the picture.
Okay,
yeah.
So you're intentionally trying to stoke this. It'd be like somebody puts a Confederate flag on a thing with a fucking noose in it. You know what I'm saying? Like, and again, I'm not gonna react to it as far as like, I'm gonna, I'm just saying like, stop trying to act like you don't know why people think you're racist as fuck, bro. And you can be Mexican and still racist.
Yeah, I have noticed that. It doesn't matter what crew of people you're in. If you don't actively go after the racism in your own heart, you are a racist. There's no way that people can't be that way. You've been raised in it. People are for their own. They're for themselves. I mean, that's why we just got done that other song about Ukraine and how if the kids don't look like what you're used to, people don't care. So if it's brown kids, they don't care. So and it's every group of people is like that unless you actively look at it and you actively take care of it.
We suffer with a desire to destroy our adversaries with swiftness and furious anger. That's what Jeremiah was tracked down upon him with furious anger, and then you'll know I'm the Lord. But to me, this is you're strapping up. It sounds like some horrible backwoods city in Germany where they're going to strap up and do some like pogrom shit against some Jewish people. That's what it looks like to me. God will not be mocked. What is faith, son of man? Is it faith to be patient while the synagogues of Satan consumes God's creation? Okay, we have to touch on the synagogue of Satan thing. The term synagogue of Satan actually was not invented by Adolf Hitler. It was invented by the Lord Jesus Christ. He used the term twice in the book of Revelation. Yep. Now, here is where your eschatological position gets you into trouble. Because here's what's going on. You go, what? Jesus referred to them as the synagogue of Satan? Yep, he did. Then you ask the next question. Well, where did he say that? He said in the book of Revelation. Then you say, the book of Revelation is talking about a very specific event in history. And all that shit is already past. So the shit that we're seeing in Revelation is not necessarily applicable to to today. So all that shit was about that generation, and I'm not shedding no tears for those people because they killed the Lord Jesus Christ. The Romans and the Jews, and if you look at history from 70 AD on, everybody suffered, and both kingdoms collapsed. And I'm not shedding no tears for no first century killers of Jesus on the Jewish side or on the Roman side. But the advantage to a preterist interpretation of these texts is that I could say that's over with. I could put all of that in one moment in history, and it's already been done, and 1 million of them were already massacred. Read Josephus. 1 million of them were killed. You can smell the blood in the sand. 10 years later, according to Josephus, and they flooded the slave market so much that they lowered the prices because the remaining survivors in Jerusalem were sent off into slavery. Okay? So, to me, that's enough of an apocalyptic disaster to satisfy the book of Revelation. I don't need a contemporary way to interpret this. But if you want to put Revelation thousands of years into the future, even though the book starts by telling you, revelation of Jesus Christ, which God gave to his servants to show his servants the things which must soon take place. Soon.
And he said, in this generation.
Correct.
On another point, so.
Correct.
A
Okay?
generation means the people alive at that time.
So just to be clear, when you're talking about Armageddon, when you're talking about Matthew chapter 24, the sun, moon, and stars falling to the ground, all that shit, that is metaphorical / phenomenological language to speak about the earth-shattering moment that your country is completely and totally shattered and decimated. So all of the invective against the Jewish and Christian communities in, the first century died in that century with the close of Judaism from a theological perspective. That's if you hold to our position on the quote end times. But if you try to take Revelation and say, I know it says soon at the beginning of the book, and I know it says soon at the end of the book, but I'm going to ignore that and push it thousands of years into the future, now you've opened it up so that our Jewish friends are still liable for this bullshit.
Oh.
That's my point.
That's right.
Because what I'm saying is, all the synagogue of Satan stuff was about a very specific group of Jewish people. It was not about all Jews everywhere.
Right.
That's the argument.
Right.
Okay? And it happened in 70 AD, and God sent the Roman military with their various auxiliary forces. It says, you see Jerusalem surrounded by armies, plural. So it wasn't just the Roman military. Remember, the Romans had auxiliary units all over the place. So they were picking people up on the way to Jerusalem. So Jerusalem was literally surrounded by armies, plural.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Very, very specific.
Yeah.
Your boy Bart Ehrman was like, oh, that's got to be Exavent 2. It's got to be Exavent 2. Bart Ehrman has a closer interpretation of Matthew 24 to us than 90% of the evangelicals that we're, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Wow.
So look, dude, this is definitely like a racist anti-Semitic song for sure. and you are probably a racist anti-Semite. But if anybody that knows me knows that I believe that racism is probably the most common sin we all share in common. And the irony is there's no such thing as race. So you can put that together. But,
right. Can you put
what
it
is
back
faith?
on the Trello board so I can see it?
What is faith, son of man? Is it faith to be patient in the synagogue of Satan consumes God's creation? Subhanallah. Some dangerous shit, bro. Like, what's the alternative, bro? What are we talking about? What are we talking about? Are we talking about, like, destroying synagogues? How are we going to make that work? Right there. Is it faith to be patient while the synagogue of Satan consumes God's creation? I dislike all the desert cults. Some more than others. Yeah? You like your American cult that lies about countries and sends young men to kill other young men who have done nothing wrong? You like that cult? You can't escape it, my brother. It's human nature.
So is your heart so callous that by your faith that heinous acts are not admonished by your fear of mortal sin?
For your fear of mortal sin.
So what thing is he pointing out that they're doing wrong right now?
he's saying that that Judaism as a whole
Yeah.
is an act of mockery of God because it's a denial of Jesus Christ, and they should know better. That's the idea. Okay? And so what this guy is saying is you're using your faith to sit around and not do anything because something has to be done about this problem. See what I'm saying? So this is rhetoric is trying to get you hyped up to go do some shit. Is your heart so calloused by your faith that heinous acts are not admonished for your fear of mortal sin? You are so afraid of offending somebody, blah, blah, blah. But in reality, like, this person is disrespecting God and you're not doing anything about it. Do you have enough faith in God's love for your immortal soul to do what must be done? What does that mean, gang?
Yeah, exactly.
Because you've got Jewish blood libel on the cover, and you've got they don't get to build synagogues. So when you say do what must be done, what does that mean, gang?
Yeah.
Will you charge into the plowshares of demons, take them to the ground, and show them no restraint while we tread on Satan and his synagogue? Jesus bless me with the strength to do what's expected of me. Remember, they are not better than us when we have God on our side, guiding us with his almighty hand. Now you have enough faith in God's love for your mortal soul to do what must be done.
Yeah, go back, because he says, scroll up a little bit more. Nope. Oh, right there. Jesus bless me with your will to defeat the sinner in me.
What about it?
Well,
in the context of this song,
what
is sin in the context of this song?
It seems like the Jews is what he's talking about.
Well, sin in the context of this song is sitting around and not doing anything to these Jews who are blaspheming Christ.
Oh, no.
So when he says, bless me with your will to do what's expected of me and to defeat the sinner in me, he's talking about the same thing. He's saying, I have these inhibitions from doing these horrible things to my Jewish neighbors, so I need extra grace from you to do what's expected of me, because if I don't, I'll be sinning because I'm allowing blasphemy to happen. So he's not ending the song with repentance. He's ending the song trying to erase the last vestiges of the voice of the Holy Spirit telling him, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Wow.
No, we don't kill people.
Wow. Okay, so wait, they're Mexicans? What does the Mexicans beef with the Jews then?
Well, there's a strong Catholic faith in Mexico, right?
Oh, I see.
Right, so institutionally...
Oh, wow, that's wild.
Right, so that decree came from a pope. The cum nimis absurdum thing, that came from a pope.
Oh, my word.
So, you know what I'm
You
saying?
must have said that at the beginning. I thought that it was, I don't know, that's crazy. Where they had to sell their property and stuff, and they had X amount of time to do it.
Yeah.
Also, I cannot stand that level of control and, like, just not considering people and their children and kicking people out of their homes. Like, what in the world? Like,
well, in their view, and I agree, that's a merciful alternative. You know, when Muhammad went to Khaybar, and you know, when the Muslims, when they get mad, they go, Khaybar, Khaybar, ya Yahud! Because in Khaybar, it depends on who's telling the story. There were a group of people, Jewish people that owed, they were in alliance with Muhammad.
okay.
And one of Muhammad's boys killed somebody.
Okay.
And so the other tribe was like, all right, we're going to get you. Muhammad's like, yo, if I give you blood money, you squash the beef? There's like, all right, fine, we'll squash the beef, you give us blood money. So then, I bet. So then Muhammad goes to Khaybar, because there are these Jews in Khaybar. So they're like, yo, and they were very rich, because they were college professors, and this is the backwoods of Arabia. I'm sorry, but even the Muslims will tell you that. I'm sorry. So Muhammad goes up to the Jews in Khaybar, and they're extremely rich, and the Muslims are hurting. I'm going to tell you what Sahih al-Bukhari says, and then I'm going to give you my opinion. So they said, oh, you want the blood money? Stay right there by the gate. We'll come back. So they left to get the money.
Okay.
Muhammad looks up, turns around, and walks away. The Jews came back with the money. The Muslims are like, Ya Rasulullah, what's going on? Why'd you leave? Muhammad said, because Jibril told me that if I'd have stayed there, they had a millstone prepared, they were going to drop, they were going to kill me.
Oh.
They said, SubhanAllah. Okay, we got to do something. So Muhammad...
There was no evidence. It was just...
There was no evidence, just Jibril told him. So Muhammad took a bunch of his best friends, and he took Ali. He gave Ali a flag. He said, "Yeah, Ali, go in there and don't come back until you've had victory." So Ali goes into Khaybar, and the Khaybarians immediately surrender. And Muhammad lines up 500 of them and proceeds to chop everybody's heads off.
What?
He lined all the males up, pulled down their pants. If you had pubic hair, they cut your head off. He killed 500 people and took all their shit. So when you're thinking about a pogrom and they say, get out of here, they're looking at that as mercy. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
That one was a pretty dark moment in Islamic
That
history,
is.
I'm not going to lie to you, because there was this old guy that everybody liked, and that was on the Khaybarian side, and so somebody said, "Ya Rasulullah, give this one to me." Because if you say, give this one to me, if Muhammad says he's yours, then he's not going to kill you.
Mm-hmm.
So Muhammad
Because they were
says,
supposed to protect the people that were in their care.
yeah,
right?
so Muhammad said, okay, he's yours. So they go to the old guy and say, "Hey, Absharu, be happy, we're not going to chop your head off." The guy's like, "Yeah, but he had family or whatever. So the guy goes back and says, "Ya Rasulullah, give the family to me." Muhammad said, "No." So the old guy said, "Well, then forget it. There's no reason to live. All my family's dead." See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So my point is, when you're talking about exiling people from the land and taking all their property and all this, like, it's terrible, but at least they got to stay together and live. You see what I'm saying? But that, like, we don't understand how brutal the world is, but especially when you have religion superimposed on top of it, because my theory about what actually happened in Khaybar was that the Muslims were running out of money. It's that simple. And the Jews were very rich, but they were very small. They didn't have the numbers that Muhammad had. So it was, and they continuously refused to convert to Islam. So that's what ended up happening.
Wow.
And so, look, as a Christian, the concept of Israel, Jews, Judaism, it's such a complex topic because there would be no Christianity without Judaism. All of our texts, aside from probably Luke, maybe you could argue Hebrews, are from ethnically Jewish Israelite people. We are completely, and Paul talks about this when he talks about the great tragedy of the fact that the Jews have not embraced Christ. He says, theirs are the fathers. They have the scripture. They have the promises. They have the covenants. And from them came the Lord Jesus, who's God over all, blessed. Amen. So, like, they carried us. And no matter how many times the Jewish people fucked up in the Old Testament, or how many times the Israelites fucked up in the Old Testament, they were the human means by which God preserved the message, whether oral or written, to the point now to where the Bible is the most popular book in the world, and that's never ever going to change. Sorry, Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But it's such a complex history because we're completely dependent on them. And there is a sense in which the first Christians did not see themselves as anything but Jews. The first controversy in the Christian church was whether or not you could baptize uncircumcised Gentiles. That was the first controversy in the church. This Peter, Acts 10, baptizing Cornelius. And then they said, "You baptized a non-Jewish person, fucking explain yourself." And you had to have a council in Acts chapter 15. Peter got in trouble for baptizing a non-Jewish person. So the initial Christians did not see themselves as, the real break as far as psychologically between we're Jews, we're Christians was 70 AD.
Oh.
That was a real break.
Really?
Yeah. So, and that was one of the 10 million reasons God determined that for those people. But, man, I don't know, bro.
So the book of Hebrews.
I don't know. This song, like, I'm not really a fan. I think it's I don't know. I'm not feeling it, man. I'm not feeling. But I'm talking about, like, me emotionally. All that rhetoric and shit is just really tough. When you think about what those people have been through.
Yeah.
And I'm not even talking about the Holocaust. I'm talking about, because I'm a Christian, so their history. You know, there's a psalm that says, "They've oppressed me from my youth, O Lord. They've oppressed me from my youth." They just struggled, man. I was talking to Johan about this. Like, their name, Israel, means those who wrestle with God. You know, you strive with God. So it's like, and there's been a lot of that for those people. Like, and look, they're still here. Say what you want. Believe what you want. Hate what you want. Love what you want. But they're still here. And I believe that, you know, it's a testimony to the faithfulness of God.
Yeah.
That they're here.
Because you have to say that the Jewish people did have involvement in the death of Christ. And the fact that God didn't obliterate the entire people means that God has forgiveness for those people if they ask.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Yes, really Jews don't have an eternal blood curse, so I do think they have been in diaspora ever since. It's still evidence in their punishment in 70 AD. That's 100% factual. It's 100% factual. And yeah, 100%. And like, there's nothing anti-Semitic about saying that. From a Christian perspective, they're a nation under a curse because their fathers knew that Christ was Messiah and willfully denied it. And then after their temple was destroyed, they literally just remixed their religion to something completely different. I'm never going to compromise on that. That's wrong. But all this shit, like, I'm not really feeling this shit, bro. Like, I'm not. But at the same time, it's like, this guy is so, like, I want to talk to you, dude. Like, send me an email, Mason. Like, one-on-one. We don't even need to talk, like, on the, you know, like, on where, you know, although I do think that would probably be a very interesting discussion. Because I do want to pick your brain as to this stuff. I'm not a Jewish person. I don't know those experiences. So I don't know what those pictures and what those phrases, like, I don't know what they invoke in a Jewish person. I just know that there's certain symbology and things of that nature that invoke a certain reaction to me. And so I guess what I'm trying to figure out is, I have hella respect for your mind, bro. And I have hella respect for your vision. I'm just trying to figure out, like, what you're trying to communicate here. Because I'm not particularly clear.
Yeah. What was the intention behind what your words were?
And I don't know. Like, if you say, look, man, I just wanted to be edgy and all that, and I understood that these are the people, like, as soon as you touch them, like, okay, like, you got the Kanye, mentality. But yeah, I just want to talk to you. Like, I don't want to. I'm saying I don't like it because I don't like what I'm seeing. I'm not saying I don't like you. I got hella respect for you. I'm just trying to figure out what the fuck is going on.
Yeah, agreed.
But man, what a talent! What an absolute talent from this dude.
I mean, the song itself. I understand what you're saying. You know, lyrically. It's so funny because the parts of the song that I thought there was like some like repentance happening at the end.
Right.
You know, so
overcome the sinner in me.
Yeah. Because I thought he would, you know, because you had been talking about the different racial elements throughout the song, and so when he hit the end there, I thought he was saying like, but at the end of the day, I got to overcome the sinner in me. Like, it's everybody has problems. Everybody has something that they need to find forgiveness for. Everybody has some toxic trait that they're, you know, seen or unseen. You know, unless you're working on that stuff. So I mean, I thought that he got to the end of the song and he was like, though I've said all of that.
Here's one line that will done all that.
Yeah, but alas, it was not so. So for me, you know, album cover wise, the sound of the sound of the song and the way he put it together, I give this one a 9.1. But obviously I'm not with like the racial elements of the song at all.
But I don't know what he's trying to do. Like,
yeah, I'm curious about that email.
And that's why I want to caveat that. Like, yeah. I want to be. But here's the thing: I'm going to score this song very high because it's extremely effective. You know, I started getting a screw face because I saw Perkinoss. He's like, "Oh my God, this is spicy as fuck." So I'm like, "Oh no, Perk is calling it spicy." What that mean, gang? I can't tell you how much I love Perkins.
Mason, when you see this review, if you post a comment in our comment section, and then send me an email at the secret email, I'll pin your comment. So if you want to answer Vin's question in the comment section and kind of give your side of it, you're more than welcome to do that. I'll pin your comment at the top in the comment section so other people can engage in it and ask you questions and whatever. So if you're interested, that's
and if you're interested in actual video chat where we talk about it and all that, like I'm cool with it too. I'm sure.
If you are interested in that, Mason, email us right away because I would tack it onto the end of this video. So you may find at the end, like when we're about to Vin out Sori out, you might find that there's an interview after this. I don't know. I can't see the future. But if before we cut up this video, Mason comes through, it will be added in. And
see, and then 275 comes with a very, very solid point. If you think about the atmosphere that black metal typically strives to create, it would make sense that the band would try to channel the feeling of fanatical hatred. Right. I agree. And that's one of the things that's troubling. If I watch a movie about anti-Semitism, or if I watch I'm sure there's some underground studio where they just put out, racist movies and shit. If I watch that, I go, damn. But that's something outside of me that, a lot of times you sit in front of the TV and then your mind just shuts off. Like people talked about that, right? Mm-hmm. But music, especially our music, is not, we're going to turn our mind off. Our music, not only is your mind engaged, but your body gets engaged almost involuntarily. Mm-hmm. Start beat.
What I mean, our 9-month-old was just right over there, and as the song started, I don't know if you saw him, he was on.
That's what's troubling to me, is that music is inherently almost an internal participatory art form.
Yeah.
To where it's almost like your involvement in it almost is necessary to complete the actual art itself.
Yep.
And so you internalize. That's why your favorite song is more important to you than your favorite movie, because it's inside. So when you're listening to music like that, to me, it's different than watching a documentary about anti-Semitism, mm-hmm. where it's like, look, they're cataloging all these anti-Semitic statements, but that doesn't mean that they're racist. They're just telling you what happened. Mm-hmm. And it's the same thing that happened with the rappers, right? It's like, yo, we're not telling you to go shoot people. We're just telling you, Lord, that's how this shit happens. Well, you got a song called Mo Murder. Okay? If you want to die, bye. Soon you gotta let mama cry. Like, that's the name of the song. Okay. Well, I could tell you, I wasn't listening to that song as an observer. It changed me. I'm responsible for everything I've ever done in my life. I'm just saying that I've known people where, like, when you need to get in a certain kind of space to do things, that's what they do, and it worked. Okay, so something different is happening with music, bro. Mm-hmm. Something's different with music. So because of that, that's where all my spidey senses start going.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
See what I'm saying?
Yep.
Because I remember, I came downstairs. My mom's like, why are you so dark? And my mom was like the toughest person I've ever seen in my life. As far as constitution, especially if there's a confrontation. And she looked afraid of me. I've never seen my mom look afraid of me, ever. But, you're sitting there ingesting that shit. Kill, nowhere to run, can't get away from my shotgun. So that's why, music to me is like, whoa, this is a little bit dangerous. You got to be very, very careful about what you're ingesting in this shit. But if he comes on and if he says, look, this song is tracking a guy who's trying to find his religion, and he ends up, because you look at Augustine, he didn't start out as Augustine, he converted, then he went all over the place. Perkinos will tell us the people that Augustine was following before he repented of them and then argued against them. So it's like, you might not be seeing a finished product with the person in this song. So if at the end of the album the guy figures out, oh my God, I've been deceived the whole time, blah, 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 blah. Now the record has a completely different, whatever. And at the end of the day, look, everybody has SoundCloud, YouTube. The market is so oversaturated. And at the end of the day, you got to do something that makes you separate from other people. With us, it's the long form reviews. We're going to get into the lyrics. We're going to talk philosophy. We're going to talk religion. We're going to talk politics. And using metal as a springboard in order to accomplish that. Like, okay, I don't think you're going to find people on the internet that do what we do the way we do it. So you always have to differentiate yourself. So he's differentiating himself. He definitely is. It's sticking out in my mind. I'm going to be thinking about this song for weeks. So if that was the mission accomplished. And honestly, like, part of me is like, now I'm like, I want to listen to the album start to finish. Now I want to read all the lyrics start to finish. You see what I'm saying?
Oh, 100%.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that's I have so much respect for. Like, this guy is, in my mind, is like the most put together Unsigned person we've ever had. Like, if he has like one or two like top level like drummer or guitar, all he needs is like one more piece.
Yeah, we've only had a few that have been like.
I get the feeling like the way that he constructed the lore that it's only him. Like, based on like read between the lines, I'm like, it's just you. But like, either way, I don't care. I mean, anyway, it's a 10. It's a 10 for me.
Okay.
It's a 10 for me.
10 for him, 9.1 for me.
What do you say, 9.1?
Yeah.
All
Shout
right,
out to
guys.
you, Mason. VinandSori@gmail.com. Send us an email.
Also, if you're bored tonight, read up on Private Henry Johnson of the Harlem Hellfighters, how there isn't a major motion picture framed about this extraordinary life. I'll never know. It'll happen eventually. It'll happen eventually, inshallah. Okay, so Vin making every song about Jesus again. Literally, Ben, the song says, Jesus, help me to give me the... the song says, give me the strength to do what needs to be done. Here's Ben. Every song's about Jesus. Ben loves him some Jesus. Vin just wants me to spout information on demand as if I'm an encyclopedia.
You know what happens, Perk? Literally his entire life, that's how everybody treats him. Even I'll ask him questions. He'll be like, how would I even know that story? So I think he appreciates having a friend that he's able to do that with, because he's always that guy. So now you're that guy for him.
That's right. That's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is. Look at that.
To be fair.
Look at the slander of hell.
He's lazy.
He is too lazy to Google himself. How dare you? Wehika.
Wehika.
Wehika. It means woe to you.
Woe
Woe to you. Wehika. All right. All right, guys. Much love to all you beautiful people.
Thanks for coming through.
Yeah, we did 2 songs in 2 hours, so apologies for that. It is what it is.
Had 4 done by now.
I know. These poor people.
Yes, these poor people.
We do long form, but we usually don't take an hour per song.
It's not usually this long.
It's not usually this long, but the 2 songs were just... We couldn't nickel and dime it. They were really, really deep songs. I really, really enjoyed them.
Yeah. Here goes Vin passing out stuff for free. We actually have an option if you're an unsigned hype band and you want to have an interview. There's also an additional thing for that. But Mason, you struck gold because Vinny decided to give you that option for free. So if you want to be interviewed, send us an email and we will get back to you.
Oh, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
No, he earned it.
Yep.
He earned it. Brilliant. It's a brilliant guy. It's a brilliant mind. I wonder if
I'm really looking forward to that conversation.
Yeah, inshallah.
Come through, Mason.
Inshallah.
I'll start bugging him through email.
Maybe Jesus will find out everything is about Jesus before next stream. You know, you asked me a question one time, Ben. You said, do sounds want to be heard?
Yeah. Oh, Ben's the one that said that?
Ben was the one that said that. And I never forgot it when he sent it.
I didn't forget it either.
It's one of the reasons I love
Ben that said it, though.
Anybody that can ask a question that I've never asked, I love forever. Most of the questions I hear people ask, I've already asked in my nighttime ruminations, but that's not one of them. So when he said that, I said, you know, this guy's a really horrible person. He probably has terrible body odor, but he's got a mind on him, boy. Ben, that's undeniable.
Yep.
I mean, he uses his powers for evil, but Ben's also done a lot of good stuff. Ben's one of those people that does good stuff and like doesn't want people to know. But it's not because he's humble. It's because he knows it'll screw with his image. You see what I'm saying? Like, you can't be a contrarian and shit, but then you help an old lady across the street with the groceries every day.
Right.
Like, I'm sorry, nobody's gonna give you that credit for being a troll. Oh, a troll who helps old ladies and babies.
That's interesting because I
But
think
that's Ben
more.
Webb.
You're probably not going to nail this, but you remember Gru? What was that? Johan, what's that movie that Gru is on? Despicable Me. Yeah. So he's like the bad guy, and he
100%.
he helps a little kid get his balloon,
100%,
and then all of a sudden he
100%.
remembers, wait, I'm a bad guy, so he goes back and pops the balloon.
Sadat.
I'm like, that is Ben. He's a kid because the kid dropped their ice cream, and so he's like, well, hold on, gives the kid a balloon, and then he realized he was being too nice.
I'll tell you what, the last and final stream that we do will be the Ben Webb stream.
I'll be out sick. Just kidding.
Nothing can last forever.
Right.
We're closer to the end than the beginning, so our last stream will be the Ben Webb stream. That will be, that'll be a good one. That'll be a good one. You know, Ben called me up one time.
And?
Yeah, he called me up. He was arguing with me about atheism when he lost. And he hung up in embarrassment, shame. And remember Lilo?
Oh, Lilo!
Lilo basically said, you did a good job, Ben, okay? It's just,
Really?
you know, yeah. It was something like, he words things to make it look like you're wrong, but you really weren't wrong. Oh, man. Hey, damn, I missed the sexual questions. I didn't see any of them. Okay, here. I'd help an old lady across the street and not want credit for it because you're supposed to help old people across the street. You don't get to brag for doing what you're supposed to do. Oh!
Okay, all right.
Who told you you're supposed to help old ladies across the street, Ben?
Yeah, Ben.
That's not readily apparent from your supposed secular pagan unbelief system.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What now?
That's the Lord Jesus telling you to help that old lady, Ben. Telling you that's what you're supposed to do.
Look at you understanding a standard.
No super chat.
I shut it down because Google takes it, but Vinny said that's actually, I don't know. I might have mixed something up. We'll see.
Yeah, Lilo, I would not be surprised if Lilo was Ben's second account. Although if Hell was here when Lilo was here, I would have loved to have seen that.
Oh.
Because all that shit talking, Hell would have been like, "Rah!" And I was the only one that ever like said any sarcastic shit to Lilo. Nobody defended me when Lilo would always come after me. But I know for a fact that Hell would have been like, "Ta-ta!"
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
All right, guys. Much love to all you beautiful people. You're both awesome. I'm Norwegian. Just got from work from 5 in the morning. Shout out to you.
Oh, just got up for work?
All right, I'm going to read this one thing and then we got to go. I was wondering if you ever reviewed Spillways by Ghosts. Reminds me of my evangelical mother who raised me like the movie Jesus Camp. Holy shit.
No.
But now is lost to QAnon and fake happy with hate in her heart.
Damn. There's a lot of fake happy people around.
I'll tell you what, man. That QAnon shit. It's you know, I hate using that word social contagion, man, but you really can lose people to that shit. You really can, because like there's no way to disprove it. It's like I got one person, man, that they were convinced, man, January 6th, they were gonna see Pelosi out there in handcuffs. She was convinced. And I was like, bro. And I'm like, yeah, but what if you're wrong? She's like, I'm not gonna be wrong, Vin, I'm telling you. January 6th happens. Nancy Pelosi didn't come out in no handcuffs. Shorty was, so I went to Shorty, I'm like, all right, so can we squash this? Can we talk about something else now? Like, we were wrong about that? I said we, even though, you know, because you know how people's ego or whatever. Mm-hmm. She goes, I was wrong. I said, oh my God, thank God. I said, yes. I've been praying all types of shit. I was really worried. She's like, I was wrong. I was like, thank you, Jesus. She said, it wasn't the right time. There you go.
It's that story, that guy that was like, thought he was an android. He brought him to the doctor. So the doctor was like, The doctor was like, do androids bleed? The guy was like, they don't. They don't. So the doctor takes it and cuts his arm a bit, and the guy starts bleeding. The doctor's like, see, you're not an android. You're a human being. And then the guy was like, wait a minute. Androids do bleed.
Yeah. Yeah.
No.
He said, I was wrong. Androids do bleed. Yeah.
Oh, right. I forgot to leave it.
I actually think
wrong.
Lilo was Amy Lee Forever. That's a very good little lore thingamajiggy that Lilo was Amy Lee Forever.
I thought that 20 minutes ago, and when you started talking about the Lilo Amy situation, but I was like, nah, it couldn't be. I don't think that I don't think Amy's capable of doing this type of stuff Lilo did.
No. No. I tell you, I talked to Lilo like 4 months ago.
You did? No, you didn't
I was looking at an old video. I was like, oh, shit. I was like, yo, what's good, Lilo? You still miserable? And she was like, yes, it's good to see that you're still a pompous, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, oh, I miss you. You gotta come through. Hopefully, maybe she'll come through on the Ben Web stream.
Yep. For the last and final showing.
Yeah, come through on the Ben Web stream.
Well, when it's the last one like that, we'll make sure that it's announced, So it's like, this is the last one, come through for the, you know what I'm saying? So maybe she'll come through then. Who knows?
Hey, look at Burke. You predicted the rapture wrong. Do you repent? No, it's actually next year. And it's calculated. What do you mean? There was 87 reasons Jesus is going to return in 1987.
Oh, my word.
And you know what happened? 88 reasons why Jesus is going to return in 1988. That was the response.
Seriously, when I was in...
Sometimes I was... Like, the way that I know that Jesus, like, loves me and is, like, completely patient is because there's so many times when, like, a hand has not materialized and just slapped people. There gotta be a patient, loving God if there's a hand that doesn't just materialize and just slap the shit out of people. Nigga, you wrote 87, I didn't return, so then you wrote 88? Man, you better. Making these poor people getting their hopes up and shit.
Learn the lessons.
Honestly, because if I was Jesus, I'd be like, half of that shit wasn't even about that shit, nigga. It was about the fucking 70 AD. It had nothing to do with this shit.
It's been done. It's been done.
What are y'all doing? Well, you should have communicated that a little better about when the shit was going to happen. And he's going to go, nigga, I said this generation.
And soon.
I said this generation. No, this generation is worse.
Oh, I know. That's why I brought it up earlier. You said soon. I brought up this generation. Because it's pretty damning.
Yeah.
If
I was Jesus, there'd be so many people I'd slap on.
I'm not joking, Neil. I remember being like 13 years old in my parents' basement, reading that verse about this generation and being like, how can we interpret this any other way? But I didn't have the 70 AD whole thing.
Yeah.
If I would have had that that day, that would have been so crazy. I spent so much time trying to figure out, like, how can we mush this so that this could still apply? Like, it says this generation. And then they came up with, I can't remember what they said. None of it made sense. It didn't stick in my head because it didn't make any sense. It wasn't logical.
We got Josephus. We have so many cool things. And angels in the sky, visible. I mean, it's
seriously, you want to see something crazy? Go listen to Wars of the Jews.
Oh my God.
Go listen to Wars of the Jews and then read. Babe, can you tell them? I know it's Revelation and Matthew and I think Ezekiel, but I don't have the
Matthew
28. Oh,
Matthew
24.
Yeah.
Check that out. Matthew 24, Book of Revelation. Wasn't there something in Ezekiel? Or is it
just read your Bible.
Yeah, dude. Read your
Bible. All right, guys. I give it a 10.
I give it a 9.1. We've got more coming tomorrow, you guys. We got a regular DJ stream. DJ Ben, not Ben Webb. I should have let people be scared for a minute.
Why would they be scared?
Because we just went on saying that the Ben Webb stream would be the last one.
And
then I was like, the Ben stream's tomorrow. No,
get them while they're hot. We got
get them while they're hot. No, this is the other Ben. And he said it's going to be a traditional stream, so I think it's going to be heavy AF. Anyway, I got to go make some Jamaican soup.
Oh yeah, the stew.
It's going to take a while, but
I've had like one meal in like a day and a half. Actually, more than 2 days. I've had one meal in 2 days, y'all. I'm looking all spry. I'm looking all spry and shit.
That's his decision. I was like, babe, you want some eggs? I was like, what do you want on them? So I made some eggs with he wanted some peppers in there, some actual hot peppers and some cheese and cook bacon, cook all that stuff up, blah, blah, blah. I made the whole bowl. He was like, I'm not eating that. It looks very delicious, but I'm not eating it. I was like, what? So he has food cooked for him you know, he chooses not. But I think he's going to choose to take that suit. I think you're going to not be able to handle yourself. You won't be able to contain yourself.
What?
On that suit, because I got to go to I know this is boring information, but I'm telling you guys anyway. I love the idea of ordering groceries and having them delivered to your house because they're right there, but I friggin' hate the way those people pick the groceries. Like, just pick the shittiest products and throw it in my bag, right? And send it to me. So when I get it to my house, I'm like, yo, I have to work with that wilted stuff. So when I get to go to the store myself and pick everything myself, and that's what I did. This
Check under
is
Vin's
going to
bed
be
for...
bad ass.
No, hell. Lilo, like, is on record. Has never said a nice word to me ever.
No.
Anything I'd say...
Her and the guy that had yellow in his background a lot.
Yeah, and Jambi...
No, it wasn't...
Jambi was different, because Jambi was kind of like
you remember that other guy?
Jambi's, you know, he wanted certain kinds of attention. I didn't give him attention,
Right.
guys. You know how people get with me. Shout out to Jambi. But Lilo was like, literally, anything you said, I was wrong.
Remember that other guy that had mostly yellow? He was wearing like this big hat, and it was mostly yellow. Him too. It was every time.
Yeah, but he wasn't as smart as Lilo. Lilo was actually intelligent. Like, Lilo had all these... That's one of the reasons I thought that Lilo was Ben, because she had these very complex insults.
Mm-hmm.
They were like 4-degree insults. It's a very, like, you had to be very intelligent to even understand you were being insulted. Mm-hmm. Which gave me... It made me feel like, you know, a little bit... It kept going in reverse, because I'm like, how important do I have to be to have this, like, very complex insult levied at me? So shout out to Lilo.
Oh, yeah, here comes Ben.
Yeah.
Sorry, grocery shops. Yes, I do regular things.
She does
throw my hair. I throw my hair up into a messy bun. Did you go do my grocery slut?
Did you get the apple cider vinegar?
I forgot.
Don't play.
I
forgot. Yeah, I knew you would.
I just completely forgot.
I knew you would.
I went on that list and I was just making sure all of the ingredients were perfect. Also, I had a hard time finding some of the ingredients because they're Jamaican. So I went on a big hunt for that. I had to ask them. It was pretty racist because I found a black cashier to ask her where I could find this.
How's that racist? Wouldn't it be more likely that the black cashier?
I know. But when you pick somebody for a specific reason, people always say it's racist. But
who are these people?
You
know, I was watching Rising today, and then Brianna was talking about the whole Canada situation with the Nazi.
Mm-hmm.
And the black dude was like, "Yo, I've never met a Nazi in my life." He's like, "Where these Nazis popping up from?" He's like,
that's another good point.
He's like, "Yo,
I thought that there wasn't that many, and now they're popping up everywhere."
How many times have you gone to the convenience store and run into a Nazi or you work in your cubicle next to it? You know, like, where are these Nazis coming from? I thought that was a really good point.
It is.
It was like, wait a second. It was like trying to find somebody who voted for Pete Buttigieg. You know, it was like that. It's like you knew the media was saying it was happening, but it was like, we never actually met any of these people. Like, I'm not even sure that Pete Buttigieg actually exists at this point. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like...
He was an Elon Musk creation.
Elon Musk creation. Yeah. All right. I don't know what we're doing right now, but...
we're closing up shop so I can go cook.
Oh, that's right. All right. Much love to you, beautiful people. Thank you.
See you guys tomorrow.
Hell, thank you, because I adjusted the FPS. And we have way less powerful internet, and there hasn't been a single glitch. Yeah. Geez. So thank you for that feedback.
It's
What's
so
up, Ascender Prime?
One button affects so much.
Ascender, we've only done one other song since your song. So and it's funny too, because you're gonna want to look at that review, and I'll tell you what, Ascender, I guarantee you that you're gonna be so mad that you were not there for this review. I guarantee you that. I guarantee. So watch the second song. I would venture to say you will probably be more interested in the commentary on the second song than the commentary on the first song. And the reason I'm saying that is because my position on that first song would have been obvious, whereas not so much on the second one.
Yeah, because at the beginning of the second one, when people were saying the racist thing, you were like, well, we'll see. Basically, it kind of felt like that. But then as the song progressed,
All right.
What they are.
Having said that, Later, dear listener. Much love to
Bye,
all
guys.
you
See you
beautiful
tomorrow.
people. Vin out.
Sori out.